Hi everybody, it's Lauren. It's been a while since I've been on, and I just wanted to kind of catch up with you guys and just talk to you maybe about a few decks that I've been using and my experiences with those decks. And I do want to say that the last couple months, it's been very challenging. That's why I haven't been on. A lot of difficulties, which I think it's starting to move through. But I do want to say that it's been, as always, it's been such a help to work with my decks, to get some information that I need, to get some comfort or focus or whatever it is. So I had bought this Mystical Tarot back in March. It's a very beautiful deck, and I won't do a full review on it because I did notice that a few weeks back Kelly from The Truth and Story did a whole walkthrough, and I'm sure it's a very thorough video, so if you're interested, you might want to check that video out. But I'll just show you a few cards here. That's the backing. And it is a traditional Rider-Waite style based deck. Okay, so you'll be very familiar with the imagery. And I like this Temperance card. It's almost like her foot it's almost like she's walking on the water. She's not immersed in it. The artist was obviously very classically trained. The artwork is beautiful. The colors are very saturated. And it's just a beautiful deck. When I first got it, I did feel that, the readings were just a little harsh. It kept showing me the worst case scenario. But as I worked with the deck and my energy meshed with it, I found that I'm getting very clear readings, really, enjoyable readings, really good, strong readings. So I think it's a great reader if you like the artwork, which I really like it. There are some interesting little nuances and things in the background to make the deck interesting. I really do like that Three of Swords. It's a good take on that card. There's the Moon. So I'm very happy with it. And I've used it pretty much every day since I've gotten it. I like this Nine of Wands too, and the beauty and the confidence this woman is exuding. And I'm just going to, I'm shifting my cards through right now, so I might put it away for a little while, but it's been wonderful. I really enjoy it. Now, another deck I've been working with the last, few weeks or so is a deck I bought last year because a lot of you wonderful YouTubers kept saying how wonderful this deck is, and this is the Marguerite Peterson. Now, I got it last year, as I said, and I really didn't connect very well with the artwork. It's the backing, and I'll show you some cards. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this deck. So it's not normally an aesthetic that I like, I guess you could say. However, some of the paintings are really beautiful, and they have a depth to them and a strength to them. So every time I go to put the deck away and say, yeah, I'm not really in the mood for it, I have a little intuition that says, no, keep working with it. So that's what I'm doing lately. I do think the book is a good addition to the deck. It's very creatively written. It's really kind of interesting. And, the paintings are interesting too, just not necessarily something I love. Here's the Magician. And here's the Lovers, which, I can see the artist's vision here, but it's just, for me, not personally like my favorite Lover's card. I do like the Star card. And I was reading for someone, a couple weeks ago, I guess, and I pulled out a few decks so he could see what he might want to work with, and this was one of them, and actually immediately he said no. He saw that Magician card that I showed you, and he really did not like the deck. Here's that Magician card again. But he did immediately like the Mystical Tarot. So, it's something to, it's important, I think. When I'm reading for someone, I want them to like the deck, and I want them to like the artwork. I want them to sit next to me and they, if they want to, really look at the cards with me and see what unfolds together. Not everybody likes to do that. Some people don't really care to look at the cards. They'd rather me just do the reading and interpret it. It depends on the person. But, I think it really is, it's important to some of us to really appreciate the art. Another deck I've been working with, which I did a video on this deck, so I won't go through too many of the cards. I did a video recently on this, the Singing Serpent Tarot. Now, one night, I mean, I've had some really dark times these last couple months, and I wanted to do a reading, but not just to read the energy. I really wanted a specific, focused answer on something, and I picked this deck, and it was incredibly helpful for me at that time. It helped me focus and bring through the information that needed to come through, which wound up being very helpful. So, you know, I just love the strength and power in this deck, for me personally. And, you know, I understand that a lot of people don't care for black and white decks, so it's probably not a very popular deck, but I love it, at certain times especially. So, next thing I want to talk about is, wow, there have been so many really fabulous tags going around. And even though I haven't participated, I've enjoyed watching the responses. Now, there was a tag that had a question. I don't remember which tag it was, but it was a question asking if there was a certain card in a deck that you have to like before you buy the card. And probably if it was a couple of years ago, I would have said no. If I like the artwork, I'll buy the deck. But since then, I've found that I need, it's important for me to see and to like the Lover's card in a deck before I purchase the deck. And in fact, there are a couple of decks that I really thought I wanted, but when I saw that Lover's card, I passed, and I said, no, I won't buy the deck because I don't like the Lover's card. So one of the decks, the artwork is really beautiful, and obviously the artist knows how to draw people and figures beautifully. But when it came to the Lover's card, they had animals. They had dogs, or I think it was dogs or wolves or something like that. And another deck, very similar, where the artist knows how to draw people beautifully, but I think they had birds as the Lover's card. And I just feel that, you know, so many readings, people want to know about matters of the heart. They want to know about their relationships, whether it's a new relationship, a long-standing one, whether it's a breakup or something that happened a long time ago, whether it's a relationship to how they're relating to themselves, whatever it is that's so important for so many people. And I feel that when the deck has all these beautiful people in it, but when you pull the Lover's card and it's dogs or something, I just feel like it takes it down a notch. And it doesn't speak to the depth and the complexity that men and women go through in these matters of the heart. So now, let me just say that, you know, animals do have a lot of, you know, love. I'm very well aware of that. I've done many sessions of animal communications, you know, with animals, and I do it for healing. I don't do it just to chat with them. But what comes through so often, if the animal is in a good home and they're happy, they love their people. I have so many wonderful stories of, sometimes they don't even want to talk about their health issue first. They want to talk about how much they love their mom or their dad first. And then they get to their health issues later. There's this, I'll just tell you one little story. It's so sweet. There's a dog, and he's just so happy in his family. Loves his dad, and his name is Diesel. And shortly after they got the dog, the dad had to get a new truck for work, and I think it was a diesel truck, because the dog was so excited, and he says to me, Dad named his truck after me, and blah, blah, blah. It was just so wonderful. So yes, animals have a lot of love. They can have hurt. They can have longing. But it doesn't have that complexity that we have as men and women. It has, the feeling of it is much more like youthful, maybe the way a younger child would love and would feel. So again, I just think it takes it down a little bit if a card gets pulled for a Lover's card and it's you know, birds or something like that. You know, so I'm losing my train. I'm sorry, but you know, I do approach my readings and pretty much everything I do in my life as a healer, because at the core of my being, that is who I am. I'm a healer. That's how it is. And that's going to transcend when I'm doing readings. And I'm very aware of, in the different healing modalities that I've practiced over the years, especially as a homeopath, I've seen so many cases where it could be an ailment of any kind that a person's dealing with, of any sort. But when we go back to the starting point, we really discuss what was happening at the time that this ailment started. Often it was a grief or some kind of issue that dealt with the heart, the emotional heart. I have some very powerful stories. Now, one story I believe I did tell before on a previous video, but I might have taken that video down. So I do want to say again, now this is a dear friend of mine. Really, he's married and he loves his wife, and he was driving home. They were journeying in the car, and he was driving, and his wife, who often kind of would reject him, his wife said something that hurt him so deeply. It just struck him, and it shocked him what she said. And what happened was, while they were driving, he had temporary blindness. It was horrifying to him. He had to pull the car over, and it lasted maybe for at least 20 minutes, he told me, before he could get himself together and drive again. So that shows how deep and devastating and how, emotions can be. And again, I keep saying these matters of the heart, whether it's love, these love situations or these hurtful situations can go so deep and be so complex in us that I just think it's so important to look at that and to address that with the utmost importance in whatever modality of healing I'm doing. And just on a few days ago, I was talking to a friend who was telling me about a friend of theirs who lost the hearing in one of her ears. And as we discussed it, what they told me is her friend had gotten a phone call, and the phone call was very devastating. The phone call was bad news that actually her partner had died, and the ear that she had the phone was the ear where she has lost the hearing, and now that's been months and months that hearing has not returned. So again, it just shows to me, as a healer, it shows how deep these things go and how important they are. And so that's my thing with the Lover's card. But also, I do find that it's becoming more important for me to have various decks that even the coloring is important. Because I have a friend who's in a lot of pain often, and, I just can't pull out the Bonefire Tarot and expect her to enjoy that reading, because with that pain, which I can see on her face, that would be the strong, vibrant colors would be too harsh for her. So, really looking at the colors and the space and how the composition of the artwork, I really find that is very important. The more I move on with my tarot path. Now, maybe for someone who's feeling really low and tired, maybe they want to see those bright colors. It's going to depend. Different decks for different situations. And that's where I'm at right now, I guess. Those are some of the things I'm working with tarot and approaching it in that healing way. So I just also want to thank you guys, because through the last couple of months, I've really enjoyed, some of you, just your videos really cheer me up and soothe me, and I appreciate you guys. I really do love you guys. And so anyway, I will wrap this up now, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye now.